Alright guys, welcome back to another Omnia video. Cosmos is here. Lots of people are actually scared about Cosmos, but I think they were actually surprised that it wasn't as difficult as they thought it would be. Right, so to start off, let's go over mechanics of this fight. The fight's actually long, but the score is very generous. So I'm pretty sure you can make the score even if you finish at exactly 90 turns, if you have low breaks. The key is to save as many abilities as you can. Oh, these are new mobs. They're the Wireds, and they like to swap Brave with you, so you don't want to build and hold Brave unless you're buffing with somebody like support unit, like Lilisette. Okay, and then, yeah, you want to save as many abilities as you can because it's such a long fight. You're bound to run out of abilities on a few of your units. And then you want to use most of them on the Lamia Queen herself, and also on the last wave. So the team choice that I found was very effective, yet also produced a very safe run. It was a team setup of crowd control / support with 2 DPS with AoE capability. Alright, so for wave 3 real quick, the Lamia Queen will just entice the first target, but it's not as big a problem as it was in the co-op, where the bombs could just one-shot you guys if you weren't careful. And they would just like negate one of you and then you couldn't move. And then bombs will hit you with like 9k HP, which is really bad. But here is not a big deal. If you kill one of her allies, you'll just repeatedly revive them over and over again. The debuffers here are really good because there's 3 targets, and you want to bring AoE here to just dish out more damage. The Zidane mannequin can use free energy. You want to keep him in check and lower his brave so he doesn't one-shot your team. Echo mannequin will use smite attack, but this one won't be like her awakening, so it's not a brave plus HP attack, so nothing too dangerous here. As soon as you kill one, she'll just revive over and over again, so Lamia Queen probably won't get to do much like attacks on you guys. And then for the summon, you want to use Ifrit because the last wave is actually weak to fire, so Ifrit's gonna go a long way, also with the damage boost for the whole duration of the fight. Because it's about 70 to 90 turns, fairly long, so the attack boost is really gonna add up. You actually don't really need a healer. I'll go into it right now. So for support, since this team only has one, I went with Lilisette. She's actually fairly unique. She has strong auras, strong debuffs. It also buffs your team's defense, so the enemy's damage output is really crippled at that point. You can use alternatives like Cloud for stun. Cloud has high damage and he can just knock out units after you use finishing touch, so he's actually still pretty good here, and it also raises your score, but more here is not a big deal as it was in Beach Bash. You're not rushing to finish the fight as fast as you can. You're actually just rushing to... You're not rushing at all, you're just playing the long game here. And then Quizzes is a good support. You can probably use like one whip here, maybe, on the Lamia Queen if you prevent the res. Just shave off some turns for you, but the mannequins aren't too tanky, so you might just, they might just take an extra 2 or 3 turns. They would take more abilities, but if you're using AoE, then it's not too much of a waste. And then Kefka is mentioned as well. He has blind on the enemies, and he can make them miss HP attack. After like the giants use Ice Quake or something like that with high turn rate, they won't be able to follow up HP attack, so he can sort of negate them there. You can also go with battery support, ones like Lena or Kate Sith, save your team from breaks, but it's actually really hard to do so because the giants themselves are really strong with their attack power. So I believe Ice Quake can do over 5k to each member of your team, which is a lot of damage. So that's why crowd control units are preferable over just like buffed support units. You don't need a healer either if you play this correctly or if you have the right debuff units. Vanille could be a good mention as well. She has a really strong attack down, but she also lowers defense. But she doesn't have strong like buffs or auras for your team. But I think you could, if you could squeeze in someone like Kefka, you could probably use someone like Vanille as well. Okay, so along with the support unit, we're gonna go with 2 DPS units who have AoE. I'm showcasing Kuja here because he's pretty old unit. Same with Lilisette. So initially, I wanted to see if we could actually beat it with these old units and like one recent unit, and I did, so I'm pretty happy there. Okay, so the last wave here, just quickly some tactics. So right away you gotta debuff them and lower their attack and also their speed. So you want to use both abilities with Lilisette. You can actually negate Ice Block completely if you use someone like Agrius, but I don't actually recommend using her here because she has low damage output overall. And she has low like support auras. It's not going to be as much as someone like Lilisette. And then, oh, there's a good tactic where if your EX ability is almost full, you can watch out for that and try to save abilities, because that means you don't have to use an ability right away. You can just like Brave attack or HP attack, and then your next turn you can just use EX ability. So it goes a long way in these drawn out fights. And then the point to summon is when the giants are not doing all attacks. That's when you want to summon. Because before, when I was doing this initially, I summoned right away and tried to burst one down. But then I ended up getting broken. Maybe one of them did an all attack or something like that. And then it just led to like a snowball effect where they just had a high turn rate and broke you. But if you summon when they're targeting one person, both of them, then you can just kind of plan around that and just go ham without, you know, fear of them retaliating on you. And then of course, just like the club, Ice Quake is very strong AoE magic with very high turn rate. You want to avoid getting broken as long as you can. Okay, so for DPS role with showcasing Kuja, but you can use a lot of replacements for him. Anyone that came after him is really good. Lopez is good replacement. Furion with his AoE EX is pretty good. Of course, Renoa. And then Sephiroth, who's also on this team. Sephiroth has a really strong gravity and 100% AoE on the EX ability. And then Jet can just run around them with the free turns. You break them with the EX and then you just get another free turn. Edis has AoE as well. The twins recently. Yeah, you can see they're both doing all attacks, so I'm just braving up with the team here. You don't want to get broken. So they're doing the wall attack first. If they break you, then they'll do Ice Quake first. They don't do Ice Quake right away. Oh, for friend unit, brought twins here. But you can use a lot of different options. Vivi is really strong too. Even if your first turn with friend Vivi would be focus. Even though you don't dump HP, you need that to buff up his fire attack. And he gets a lot of attack power. So Vivi would dish out a lot of damage. Also twins. And then you could probably use someone like Quistis. Even if you're bursting one down, you can just whip the yellow one into oblivion. Okay, the Senju units, Vivi and Freya would fall under DPS role of AoE. Freya has support, but she's mostly a damage dealer. Kind of weird, but yeah, her role would be mostly DPS. And then Zidane, he has AoE, but you can use him as DPS role. He has debuffs, but you kind of need support because he's not going to prevent your team from getting broken. Okay, because we have so many turns before the giants, we're just going to summon here. If you noticed earlier, we had like 5 turns before them, so I finished all 5 turns, then summon, which means you get an additional 6 turns. So you basically act, you know, 11 turns before the bosses get to do anything to you. Make sure they're not doing all attacks, so it's less likely that they can break, you know, all of your team or something like that. And then you can just go ham because we have Ifrit, non-elemental users like Kuja and Sephiroth can just go ham and maximize their damage output over there. For the friend unit, you don't have to worry too much about the summon timing because you have 5 turns. So yeah, the twins are going to do 100% AoE. Like maybe you use them 2 or 3 times in the summon, so it's not too big of a deal if you you don't summon right away. Yeah, you can see their attack power is pretty strong, still doing 4k even with Lilisette debuff there. So without it, you can imagine it being, you know, at least maybe double or 50% more. It's just really strong attack power. That's why you want a debuffer in here. And then ability wise, everyone's getting pretty low. That's why managing earlier in the earlier fights was really important. But the fight's gonna come down to the wire. We did not kill A there. I was going to try to do that, but because we have ability use on our other teammates, you actually don't. You're not in danger of getting jumped completely, because like every time you use an ability, you have high turn rate yourselves, and then their high turn rate is competing with your high turn rate. So not necessarily they will jump your whole team. If you only brave attack with your whole team and then they still broke you, it's very likely that they'll just jump past your whole team. And also the other big reason is because we have double speed down. Sephiroth EX providing the Sloga here on the enemies, and then Lilisette's generic speed down, just lowering their speed a lot. So all that coming into play as you see. So him getting a break on Ice Quake, we still had 2 units in front of him in the queue there. And then yeah, you don't want to get broken. Just Brave Attack if you can. So full on Ice Quake doing about 3k to the team. That's with a debuff from Lilisette. So without it, it's over 5k, which is very powerful. And without any kind of like battery or debuffer, you're gonna get broken, which is gonna probably lead to a KO because of the high turn rate. But this is why Lilisette in particular is so good, because of the just buffs everybody, but also batteries. She does everything to actually negate the bosses. So I think she like outright counters them, which is a very good pick for an older unit. And we did it a little bit slower than we did the first time, by 1 turn, a little bit slower, but it's still good for 2 old units and a recent unit. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.